And now the next thing that we do in any divination game is that we have the stage, and now we have the actors. Now let's just use, for example, the house as to represent, this is our divination game, and we call it the house. See, it's where you live, it's where things happen. Now we have an actor. One of the actors, say, is Dad. And one of the actors is Mom. And one of the actors is, say, Jane. And maybe one of the actors is Fido. So we have Mom, Dad, Jane, and Fido to represent our masculine energies, our feminine energies, our childlike energies, and our instinctive energies. That for some reason or other, when we think about who are the forces, the spirits, the movers, the actors, the doers, not the places, but the active agents in our life, in one's life, we can cut it any way we want. If we're going to use the house metaphor for the place, we might use family members as the actors. So now all of a sudden we've introduced the second dimension. We have the where and we have the who. Okay, now what we can do is through some divination process, whether it's by a dance that we make, a movement of our hands, a random throwing of dice, of shells, of laying of cards, or what have you, through the synchronistic magic, we have the actors find themselves located in certain areas. So say all of a sudden we do our thing, and there's Fido in the family room. And we have Dad, or say Mom, we have Mom in the basement. And we have Dad, see, we have Dad up in the attic. And we have Jane, I don't know if this is, yes. Okay, we'll put Jane, say Jane is in the kitchen. Okay, so now let's just pretend that that landed there. We're doing a divination. So we say, what does it mean then if this energy is active in this part of life? This energy is active in this part of life. This energy is active in this part, and this energy is active in that. We have the child energy in the cooking part of ourselves, the child energy going on in the place of change where raw material is turned into something useful. That's school knowledge being turned into wisdom, groceries turned into nourishing food, life experiences turned into some kind of learning, and the child is the energy that's in that particular area. So maybe a playful approach is being taken to transformation. Who knows? Down here in the basement, where we have the unconscious, instinctive part of ourselves, we have the mother principle at work. And what would that mean to us? And we can start working with that interpretation. We have the father energy up in the memories part of ourself, as if perhaps that would mean, how would a father energy operate differently in the memories part of ourself than if the mother energy were operating in that area? Maybe the mother energy would be working to sort through values and caring about memories. The father energy might be sorting them according to categories or approaching them in some other kind of a different way. So we have these actors are operating in these different places, and that's going to then affect the state of the world. Okay, stop for a second. Basement. And we put the kid, say, in the front porch. Jane's in the front porch, Dad's in the family room, Mom's in the kitchen, and Fido's in the basement. Now let's just sort of fantasize for a little bit. What difference would that make compared to our first situation? We have, say, the memories part of us is not being particularly activated right now, but the coming together of the family is being activated by the father principle. So I mean that perhaps some statement about tradition, certain rules of order, or the way a family should work, is that kind of energy is being applied. We have Mom, maybe some would say Mom is in her home base, perhaps, I don't know, of cooking, nurturing for the family, that this particular area of life is being acted upon by an energy that's well suited to its function. We have the child in the front porch, and so that the public persona, the way in which we invite the people to interact with other people is either childlike, it's innocent, it's playful, what have you. The dog in the basement maybe would be suggestive of perhaps again that the natural instinct kind of energy is around where we take things for granted in the bodily functions, what have you. And maybe we would come to say, as we worked with this, that when the dog is in the basement, there's a certain special harmony because there's a natural correspondence between instinctive energy and this part of life, the workings of the body. And somehow when the dog is in the basement, there's a certain all-rightness with the world. Or when Mom is in the kitchen, there's a certain all-rightness to the world. This would be reflecting some kind of cultural value of the person who invented this divination system about the natural harmony of things. Okay, a similar one would be, again, to go back to astrology, for example, and we can see this. Astrology, like I say, it uses a round picture of the universe. It divides the world into 12 areas or houses. The first house is the self, and the second house is money and resources, and the third house is communication. What does it have for actors? Who are the energies in the astrology system? In astrology, the energies are planets. The planet Mars, say, can be located in one of the houses. The planet Venus, I have, like for that, for example, the planet Venus in the house of money. So this is saying this energy that Venus represents, this feminine love energy, is activating and functioning in the money area of my life. A way in which, in astrology, part of the synchronicity is tied to a clock, because the movement of the planets during the course of the year, and they're picking up on a cycle, a natural cycle, like we have the 12 months of the year. So Venus moves around the chart. So at one point in your life, you will have Venus moving through your second house. At another part of your life, you'll have Venus moving through the communication part of your life. You were born with it in a certain place, as if you came in, the divine moment of your birth had Venus located in a particular place, and then later on in your life, you have the momentary energy of Venus temporarily in a particular place. It's the same pattern. We have the actors and we have the places. Different systems have different ways of getting them there. When we toss I Ching coins, it's the random toss. When we use astrology, we're looking at the sky and the movement of the planets and the timing of your question. When we work with tarot, we're working with the randomization of the cards and which ones happen to be drawn. If we're working with your